Welcome back. This episode is different as I've decided to edit it down a fair bit. The reason being, many failed runs, which didn't even come close to winning and made the whole experience rather miserable. In fact, this would have been the longest episode yet, had I included everything, and the Speedies chapter was already rather excessive at 2 hours. So let's talk a little bit about the strengths and weaknesses of the warrior. First is the unique mechanic of the character, plus 15% attack speed for every unique weapon you have. This one is a blessing and a curse. While this effect can grant you up to plus 90% attack speed, you are locked to using melee weapons, and furthermore, since those have to be unique weapons, you can't really stack a lot of specific weapon tags, such as heavy cacti claws for extra percentual damage. Second benefit is that this character gets a flat plus 5 melee damage. Nothing special, but it does help out, particularly with low base damage melee weapons early on. Now on to the downsides. First, this character cannot equip ranged weapons. So the weapon type that benefits the most from attack speed is actually off the table. This also means that an interesting hybrid of melee and ranged is also unfortunately not possible. Then there's the negative 30% attack speed. This considerably bites into the effectiveness of the warrior's unique attack speed buff and really only allows for a plus 60% total attack speed bonus. This also means that if you're not using unique weapons and instead just stack 6 of the same, for example, you'll actually attack 30% slower, which is a considerable downside. Finally, there's the negative 80 luck. This is a big one, as luck has quite a lot of useful interactions within the game. It affects the amount of items dropped by the enemies and trees, specifically the food and crates. Less food meaning less survivability, and less crates meaning less powering up for your character. Luck also affects the quality of the options offered to you on level ups, meaning that whenever you level up, you have a significantly lower chance of being offered blue and purple options, making your level ups worth less. Lastly, luck also affects the shops and the quality of items offered to you. Overall, I believe the warrior is firmly at the weaker end of the spectrum of Brotato characters, as the benefits of this character are rather minimal, while the downsides being rather crippling. The many failed runs with this character that didn't even come close to winning led me to RNG manipulation, which just consisted of me restarting the run until I got what I needed from the first shot. And now, without any further ado, here's the run that finally won. Alright, so here we go. So the plan here is to pretty much get at least a hunting trophy in the first shop, and hopefully another knife as well. So the plan here is to aggressively reroll until I pretty much get the items that allow me to really power up. First up, yeah, attack speed makes sense. I'm not going to take the knife immediately, but I will take the hunting trophy. And now, yep, there we go. There's another knife, another reroll because it's cheap. Rock is not something I also want because Rock has a very high base crit chance, and a single rock will also allow me to leverage the warrior's unique ability just a little bit. So even if I have just a single unique weapon, I'm already getting plus 15% attack speed, which helps out a little bit. And there we go. So far so good. And I missed the tree, but it's a little bit suboptimal. 5 speed seems good. There we go. Got the rock. Yeah, glasses are obviously good. I want the knife, but I can skip the rock or skip the glasses there. And this is worth a lock, yeah. So after this wave, I'll get another knife, and I can already upgrade my rock, which is quite nice. Obviously, I want to have 5 knives and a single rock right now, because this gives me the maximum amount of crit chance possible. And the reason why I go for 1 rock and 5 knives is because the 1 rock actually has 10 base crit chance over a knife. So if I had an extra knife, I would have a weapon that has 5 less crit chance than the rock. So the rock will actually yield me just a little bit of extra money with the hunting trophy as a result. Yeah, HP makes sense. Crit and range are both good, but I opt for crit because of the income bonuses. There we go, upgrade the rock. And circular saw is something that's really good, but I can't afford it right now at this point. So yeah, let's lock the hunting trophy. it's just a really important, really important to get those hunting trophies very early on. Obviously, they can still kind of slingshot you back in the game even if you get them fairly late into the game, like wave 7 or wave 8. But the sooner the better, and this is, you know, wave 4, or rather after wave 4, I'll be getting my my second trophy, and it's going to really help out. So far it's pretty straightforward, not a lot of survivability yet. Another thing with the hunting trophies that's worth noting is that hunting trophies can be a bit of a trap, because, you know, in order to force them, you actually do have to re-roll quite a lot, unless of course you're playing, or unless you get really lucky. So yeah, here I go, speed. More speed means more survivability. Got the second hunting trophy, and gentle alien is tempting, but it's kind of risky. And I want to play it safe, so no gentle alien right now. But yeah, I've got the 5th knife. And Cute Monkey is worth a lot, and so is the helmet, because the healing from Cute Monkey is really quite powerful. It doesn't seem like much, but it definitely increases survivability quite significantly. The other thing that's worth considering is that because the level ups are going to be so weak, I'm also going to try and get, you know, any point of armor I can get, because this character does have -80 luck. So what this means is I'm probably not going to get a purple armor on a level up. It's technically possible, but the likelihood of that actually happening is very low. So yeah, here things actually get a little bit dicey. You know, the greed is real. You know, I want to smash as many things as possible, and it gets pretty dicey. Because again, the hunting trophies are a bit of a trap, right? You are using a lot of money on rerolls, which means that's money you're not using on powering your character up. And it's sort of a balancing act, you know, like when do you start cashing out, right, or cashing in, I guess, your extra money from hunting trophies, instead of just re-rolling aggressively, and you start pulling the items that you actually need, because I've already re-rolled a bunch of items that I don't really need. All right, there we go. Helmet, Cute Monkey. Obviously re-roll again. I have a lot of money as well to work with. Shiv is kind of tempting, because it's also a blade weapon, and it also gets to be a unique weapon. So now I'm already basically nullifying the attack speed debuff, because I have 2 unique weapons, being the rock and the electric shiv. There we go, another hunting trophy. This is where I'm getting the feeling that, yeah, this has a lot of potential. But yeah, so far it's looking pretty good. The speed is nice, the armor is nice. Survivability is a little bit so-so, although I do have 4 lifesteal. The problem with lifesteal right now is that my weapons are very short range, so yes, technically melee weapons obviously can hit multiple targets at a time, but they're pretty risky, especially short range ones. The other reason why the electric shiv is nice is because, especially when it's upgraded, the electric bolt will bounce multiple times, thus giving you more lifesteal rolls. So yeah, it's really quite nice. Obviously the chargers are actually quite dangerous in this level, and my armor is, I believe, only 1 point at this stage of the game. So yeah, it's pretty tricky. That was a nasty spawn. This is, I think, the closest. Well, this is definitely the closest I've been to dying. I was honestly really worried that that was the run ender right there, but fortunately things went better, and obviously the small monkey is coming in. It's actually really remarkably good. For on average, for every 20 materials you pick up, you get a hit point back. Shouldn't underestimate it. Nose here is kind of tempting because nothing was particularly good. Circular saw, very good, very good range. It's also a blade weapon, which means I'm not giving up my crit chance, which obviously synergizes very well with the hunting trophy. Time for reroll, mastery, very nice, +6 damage. Defective steroids are solid. Butterfly's pretty good. Bat is pretty good too. I'm not really using melee. Well, not melee, but elemental damage. The elemental damage is not that important, because what I really want is I want lifesteal, and just survivability stats in general. And unfortunately, quite a few of the lifesteal items, well, they pretty much all come with a certain downside. But I can afford the elemental damage drop. Here I'm doing some pretty risky moves. I am playing kind of, well, this is obviously like a maximum greed build because this character really wants to power up and needs to power up because the stats are just not amazing. The downsides are quite crippling because I can't really rely on level ups for serious power increases. You basically have to get really lucky to not just get a purple, but also to get a purple that you need, because you can get a purple, but if you get purple range damage, then that's worthless for this character. Well, technically Cacti Club benefits from it, but it's a bit of a stretch because you're probably only using a single Cacti Club. Anyway, 930 money, there we go, 3 purples, speed is very good, luck's pretty solid too. I decided to go for luck here. Helps out the shops a little bit. Piggy bank would easily be worth it here. I could just take the piggy bank, start a new wave, and boom, I would, it would pay for itself pretty much, almost immediately. But hunting trophies are good enough. I don't really need to mess around with the piggy bank, and I can just keep aggressively rerolling the shop and also powering up from the shop. Mushroom's pretty decent. Gentle Elan's risky. Circular Saw gets upgraded. This is fantastic. In hindsight, I think it probably would have been better to upgrade one of the knives and just get a second Circular Saw. Although, in its current state, the Circular Saw does act as a unique weapon, so I'm actually having a positive attack speed buff. Finally got a Cacti Club, which is probably my favorite melee weapon. Banana's good, Booger is good, Defective Stairs, all of that was good. Coffees is nice to have. And yeah, this is actually looking pretty good now. Suddenly, I have 4 unique weapons. So, plus 60% attack speed. However, there's also the innate debuff, so really it's plus 30 positive attack speed. And the coffee gives the final 10% for 40 total. Alright. Now the heavy starts showing up, but damage is actually really good currently. Obviously the rock, the knives, and the saw blade all have very high base damage. The shiv doesn't deal that much damage, but is more of a survivability tool. Taking the flat melee damage, the innate plus 5 that the warrior starts with is actually really nice with the electric shiv, because it pushes the weapon over the one-shot threshold for quite a while, so you can take out a bunch of the trash mobs very easily with it, even with the melee component of the weapon. And then obviously the lightning bolt does some pretty decent damage as well on top of it. And yeah, here you can see the saw blade just going into the mob and absolutely wreaking havoc. I think the saw blade is really probably my favorite, or not my favorite necessarily, but I think it's one of the best, if not the best, melee weapons. Another hunting trophy, another upgrade for the electric shiv, more lifesteal. Terrified Onion is pretty good. I do have to throw away some of that luck, but speed is just a very nice survivability stat. Beanie I don't really like right now because I would have to give up range, and I don't have any range buffs. So I'm pretty hesitant to do it because the knives already have very short range. Claw Tree is good, I can afford the 1 hit point here. Lightning Shiv gets maxed out, Cacti Club gets maxed out. It's a really nice double blue shop here. Yeah, another bandana makes sense. Basically everything here right now is good. So yeah, I'm really at the point where now I'm like seriously cashing out. I'm buying up a lot of stats. The hunting trophies are earning me so much money. The character is gaining so many extra stats, bunch of hit points, lots of lifesteal. Melee damage is a little bit so-so, and actually percentual damage is also pretty low, but my crit chance is very high, so I'm just critting a ton. The knives actually have, I can't remember from the top of my head, but they have a lot of crit chance. I think right now they're around 75%, so pretty much, not everything, but you know, the vast majority of the hits are actually critting from the blade weapons. So yeah, they're quite fantastic. And same thing with the rock, of course. But the rock is low range, whereas the saw blade is a much longer range weapon. And while it is a blade, I believe it has a fair bit lower base crit chance. so I do kind of want to kill with the knives. The knives are also cool because they have a very high crit damage modifier, so they innately just crit really hard. But yeah, now I'm finally at the point where I'm actually really quite durable. The armor is still a problem, but I can recover from damage very quickly thanks to the lifesteal. +1 armor is fantastic. Lifesteal would also be decent. +6 melee damage, it's a purple, it's nice. 15 range would have also been fine. Injection does kind of make sense because I can afford a little bit of HP drop, but more damage is quite nice because I want to burst high threat targets down quickly. Now this really makes sense. Energy pressure is kind of eh. The elemental and crit damage is nice though, so it is worth taking. Yeah, level 3 lightning shiv here. I could go for it instead of the knife, I guess. Technically, I could go instead of the rock or even instead of the cacti club. I would be sacrificing the unique attack speed boost, but I think I ended up skipping it. Hunting trophy and sap tomato are very welcome. Actually, positive hit point regen now, which is very nice. Mushroom to really stack up some more regen. Defective steroids makes sense. Cyberball doesn't make sense because of negative luck, obviously. Butterfly's quite good. I don't like the idea of throwing away elemental damage, but it's, you know, the lifesteal is more important. Small Mac does nothing, but metal plate is very welcome because that gives me that really crucial armor. Makes every point of health worth more, obviously. And this is pretty much it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna reroll here. Small magazine is sort of tempting because the attack speed is kind of cute, and I guess the range damage is kind of cute with the cacti club, but it's not really worth it. So yeah, heavies obviously go down really quickly. Trash mobs get one shot. And there's a tree, but no item from the tree. Yeah, at this point the power is getting pretty high. Like the power level of this build, or I guess, yeah, build, not character. Character is not so good, but the build currently is really, it's officially online. As you can see, like whenever I take damage, it doesn't even happen that often, but when I do, I can recover from it so quickly. Obviously, the cacti club, you know, spitting out a bunch of spines that will then penetrate multiple targets. It can just proc the lifesteal so many times. Same for the electric shiv and the lightning bolts. It just procs lifesteal so many times. And obviously, the other melee weapons can just hit multiple targets with a single attack. 45 range, just what I needed. That's like the perfect level up because melee weapons obviously benefit so much from extra range. Piggyback doesn't really make sense at this point, it's wave 11. I do like Spear because of the range, but it's just a level 1 Spear, so I don't go for it, otherwise I would have probably thrown away the blue knife. It's another blue knife, so now it's, you know, 6 purples and 4 uniques. Alien Tongue, the extra pickup range, it doesn't do that much, but it's, you know, it's nice to have. Just gives me a little bit of extra safety because it allows me to pick up the materials more easily, and thus the monkey, the healing monkey, can proc more. Mushroom here makes sense, a little bit of extra hit point regen, ugly tooth, not so much. Another hunting trophy for shits and giggles. At this point it's probably not really worth it even, but yeah, it's a decent pickup. Cyclops Worm is a so-so. I would have to throw away a range for 12 damage, 12% damage. Decide it's worth it. Metal detector is definitely not worth it anymore. Yeah, no, yeah, okay, there we go. Circular Saw, it's a blue unfortunately. Plant, I don't think it's worth it because I don't really want to throw away lifesteal. I think lifesteal, it just has so much potential right now. In my build, I think lifesteal is worth more than hit point regen at this point. Bat's good though, harvesting is not an important stat. Charcoal would have been decent, but I didn't have money for it. A little bit of elemental damage and melee damage, not bad at all. As you can see, the healers are at this point going down really quickly. Basically just getting hammered down in a few hits. Obviously the crit damage is really high. The knives crit for a ton of damage. Fantastic. Incredible amount of power. And And yeah, just the AoE clear potential of the saw blade. The saw blade really is just, it's so good. It deals damage going in, deals damage coming out. It really is fantastic. I think it is probably the best weapon. I'm not 100% sure, but I hold it in very high regard. And yeah, things are just getting absolutely cleaved through. I think I can get, nah, I won't get the tree there, but it doesn't really matter. 2.3 grand in the bank. Both speed and lifesteal is nice, but lifesteal gives me extra survivability here to a very meaningful extent. Because I'm probably going to get swarmed in wave 12 anyway, so speed isn't probably going to help that much. Might as well go all in on the survivability stats that actually have an interaction with enemies. And attacks against enemies. Another cute monkey is very nice. Basically now 10% chance to heal whenever I pick up materials again, very good. Metal plate is very nice, +2 armor, very welcome. Skill +2 range damage, -4 attack speed. It's actually kind of good. The +25 range is good, and the range damage also interacts a little bit with the Cacti Club. Obviously, my range damage is so negative that it doesn't really make a difference. So it's just paying for the +25 range there. But that already in of itself is a very desirable stat. Then Hunt and Trophy, probably for shits and giggles. Kind of go for extra credits on wave 12. Alien Tongue makes sense. And then Living Booger is good. Lost Duck is not special, but might as well get it because I'm out of money anyway. The elemental damage may or may not have been a good idea to throw it away. The reason why I went for Lost Duck is because it increases luck. Even though luck is negative, it does give me a slightly higher chance of getting food items, and food items means more survivability. So I really don't want to take any chances here at this point. So that was the reasoning behind it, throwing away a little bit of elemental damage in exchange for just a slightly higher chance of getting the items that help me survive. And yeah, there we go. 6 seconds of clock. Things are going very smoothly so far. But this wave's going to get a little bit hotter in a second. Yeah, I took some damage, but almost immediately recovered from it. I also have a good amount of armor, so I'm probably not going to get stacked out if a few units charge through me, which is very nice. 34 hit points is also pretty healthy. Anything above 30, I think you're in a good spot in terms of health. If you go above 40, you're really quite tanky at that point. But here I'm also quite tanky because I can just recover health so quickly. The cactus spines, it's fantastic. And as you can see, I'm actually taking quite a lot of damage, but I'm also recovering from it so quickly. 10 seconds on the clock. Things are scoring some hits on me, but honestly not that much. And obviously I'm making a ton of money, so if this run were to go on, I could get even more, but yeah, 6.5k. Insane income. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's look at the stats real quick. There's the max hit points, 34, hit point regen. I'm also counting the hunting trophies here. I believe it's 8. But yeah, it's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna scroll up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yeah, 8 hunting trophies. But yeah, the stats are quite fantastic. Max hit points 34, hit point 12, lifesteal 19, which is really high. Damage 14, melee damage 32, 68 attack speed, 47 crit chance, 30 crit damage, 3 elemental damage, 78 range, very good. Armor 7, speed 25, and the rest doesn't really matter. But yeah, luck at -54 is considerably better than luck at -80. So for what it's worth, it's a pretty big deal. But yeah, at this point I was pretty ecstatic to be done with the warrior, because this character is really quite difficult. But yeah, next time is going to be quite special, because we're gonna play with another snowflake character, and it's the one that has hearts for eyes. So until then, take care.